I feel like personally we're overlooking Tua, who led the league in passing yards last year, has the same explosive offense around him as last year, showed that he could stay healthy all of last year. I see your face, Adam, and it's not you're not agreeing with me. Why? What's the hate against Tua?
Can you tell me the Tua didn't throw more than 3 touchdowns after week 8 last year? He threw his high was 2 touchdowns, and he had, what was that, 2, 4, 6, 7. He didn't break 300 yards in the entire second half of the season or after week 10. So when the Dolphins got into the harder part of the schedule, they struggled because that offense is predictable with Tua Tagovailoa at quarterback. He does not have the capabilities to drive the ball down the field. We saw what they looked like in Kansas City. Granted, Kansas City's an elite defense, but the book is out on how to beat the Dolphins offense. Not every team is going to be able to do it, but this is a team that's going to melt down the stretch, and Tua is going to be the melter in chief. And we saw it last year. He only had 2 touchdowns 3 times after week 8. He went over 300 yards once after that, and he was held under 200 yards more times than he went over 300 yards through the air. He doesn't run as well as he should. There was a really fringe scouting report on Tua coming out of college, and it's the one that I really think people need to go back to. It's that the thing that scouts noticed about him was he looked so good, but the problem was you couldn't find film of him in a bad, dirty pocket. And when he gets into a messy pocket, his footwork was terrible. And that was what concerned this scout. I don't remember who the scout was, but I remember reading it. It was when guys are at his feet, when guys are collapsing in on him, he really struggles. And that's what you need to be good at to be an NFL quarterback, and especially to be a productive fantasy quarterback. You can't melt under pressure like that. And he does, and he can't win the big game, and he can't produce in the big moments. And for that reason, I can't justify him as a top 10 fantasy quarterback because, okay, I'm going to get a couple good games against bad teams, but what am I going to do the rest of the season?
I mean, he still was what, 6th overall in fantasy points last season?
He was, but they're going to be playing a second place schedule this year. So their path got harder.
It's a harder schedule.
Harder schedule. They still have to play a bunch of really good defenses. And let me pull up their schedule right now.
I think
because
last year he finished 11th is what I have, but I don't know if that's where'd you get the sixth best?
Tua finished 6th best in quarterback fantasy points.
I see 9 in
9.
PPR
Okay, 9.
scoring.
So still top 10.
Yeah, I had him last year, and it was kind of like that. It was like the first half he was really good, but the second half really fell off big time. So it's kind of just, if you think that how long can that be sustained? His like first half, how he did in the first half of the season, like can their offense stay that way the whole year? I don't know. I mean, like Adam's saying, it's probably schedule, and also we don't really know if they can hold up the whole season long. So
all right, so you guys are both
so
off
his
to
last 6 games this year: Packers, Jets, Texans, 49ers, Browns, Jets. And the week before that is Patriots, Raiders, Rams, Bills. That's a much harder schedule than they played last year. He's going to, I mean,
all right.
that's the,
All right.
I
You're
look
off
at this
to
and I see he threw 14 picks last year against only 29 touchdowns. I mean, and he doesn't have the rushing to offset it. He had 0 rushing touchdowns last year, and he had 74 total rushing yards.